New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert hanging out behind the banner. Welcome to a Friday night. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone. That means it is time for the good news. That opportunity we take every week to look at some of the good news stories happening in the world that we think will inform and inspire your weekend. Please feel free to share these stories with your friends and family or invite them to come check out the program. We're here every Friday night, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Thanks for joining us. All right. Hey, first up tonight, this is one of those stories that I always like covering because we cover it every so often. And it's an emerging technology, agrivoltaics. And there's another study in this time by the University of Sheffield. The practice of using the same land for farming and producing solar electricity. Now, it leads to greater crop yields with less water, and this is compared to crops grown in the open fields. An international team, which included the University of Arizona, along with the Center for International Forestry Research and World Agroforestry, found certain crops such as maize, Swiss chard, different beans thrived under the partial shade provided by solar panels. The shade helped to reduce water loss through evaporation while additionally using the rainwater harvested from the panels to supplement irrigation needs. That's a new twist on the story. We haven't heard that aspect added in any of the other reporting we've done over the years on this. So imagine a future where farms are powered by clean energy, crops are more resilient to climate change. Agrivoltaics can make this vision a reality by offering a sustainable solution to the pressing challenges of food insecurity, water scarcity, and energy. This is all according to Professor Sue Hartley of the University of Sheffield's School of Biosciences and Vice President for Research and Innovation. She continues, by shading crops with solar panels, we create a microclimate that helps certain crops produce more, but we're also better able to survive heat waves. And the shade helped conserve water, which is crucial in areas threatened by climate change. Beyond increasing crop yields and water conservation, the study showed agrivoltaics can also provide a reliable source of clean energy for renewable rural communities. Good news, good news. See, these are the things, the stories I love to find, and we love to report on technology here, and the mix, the nexus of technology and our future updates. So not all, but most of our stories we find over at the goodnewsnetwork.org. We invite you to stop over there. Let those folks know that you've learned about them through us. Give them a shout and a hi, and let them know about the good work they're doing, bringing us the good news, the goodnewsnetwork.org. All right, back into the stories here. Next up, robots are helping to solve the seagrass concerns. One of the least respected but most important ecosystems on Earth are seagrass meadows. And a pioneering robotic solution is helping marine scientists restore those underwater gardens. It's called the ReefGen Grasshopper, and it can plant dozens of seagrass seeds per minute. It's faster than human divers, but also much safer as well. We don't have to send divers to the bottom of the ocean. It works by injecting a tiny slurry of sediment wrapped around the seagrass seed into the seafloor. After covering a growing plot of 4 seeds, the robot hops about 30 centimeters away and starts again. Despite covering a minuscule portion of the seafloor, seagrass meadows are estimated to hold 35 times more carbon than terrestrial forests, amounting to around 18% of the total carbon stock of the world's oceans. ReefGen's founder, Tom Chi, dreamed up the idea after watching the degradation of coral reefs on his home island in Hawaii. The first iteration of the robot sent coral plugs into existing reefs to help regrow them, but the technology was prohibitively expensive for wide-scale use. Now, however, broader selections of off-the-shelf parts have driven down the cost of manufacturing and maintaining these underwater robots. That's according to Chris Oakes, the CEO of ReefGen. Manual planting works, but robots are really good when things are dull, dirty, dangerous, or distant, Oakes told CNN, adding that the moment Grasshopper is piloted with a controller by a human on the surface. Good news as we continue the work of taking care of planet Earth. And, there's a lot of stories, folks. We run into so many of them, and this one really did jump out at me. A historic breeding colony of fur seals has produced record numbers of pups, which have been seen splashing and tumbling around the waters off of the Farallon Islands, excuse me on the pronunciation there. The latest population count provides a sight unseen for 150 years in the islands off of San Francisco. At one time, they were home to over 150,000 elephant and fur seals, and this return is a really great idea. The Farallon Islands witnessed overhunting of the sea rockery during a market boom for their blubber and pelts in the late 19th and earliest 20th century. A conservation treaty signed by the U.S., Canada, and Russia banned their hunting in 1915, and a second piece of legislation designated these islands as a wilderness back in 1972. Over time, these measures ensured that neighboring seals could reestablish their colony, which has now grown into the thousands. Over 2,100 fur seals were recently counted during a population survey, and that number indicated over 1,200 pups, the highest number ever. I was amazed to see them all piled up there, said Jerry McChesney, manager of the island's National Wildlife Refuge. The pups can be seen bobbing up and down in the rough waters in coves, inlets, and rocky shallows where the area's apex predator, the great white shark, can't quite get there. Much fun to watch, says McChesney, and the animals are on the rebound. What a great story. Folks, we live on a planet of oneness, and I believe that a major part of what we have to do as individuals is stay true and stay diligent to recognizing the one we see it and celebrating it. And our next story, I think, is a great celebration. This is all coming from India. It's a tribal community gained ownership of a lush bamboo forest and is using it to brighten the future of otherwise poverty-stricken inhabitants. According to a monumental piece of legislation passed in 2006, any indigenous community can apply for ownership of federally owned land on which they have a traditional claim. It's called the Forest Rights Act. Its effectiveness has been spotty since many indigenous forest dwellers are unaware that this even exists, and few are willing to litigate on their behalf to help the indigenous dwellers. But the dwellers of the Pajgoan in the Indian state of Maharashtra, I think I'm saying that right, they have spent the last 3 years persistently creating inquiries and filling out forms, and it's all rewarded them with over 25 acres of bamboo forest that they now own. The idea is it's turning into a community silviculture business that takes care of the whole community. It also stymied migration to the urban centers, keeping community members in the region of their ancestors while making a non-insignificant profit of around $41,000 a year for the village thus far. The day we got the papers was a festival, according to village elders. We were overwhelmed that we had won this right, that our nonviolent protests had paid off. We're now 100% sure that the forest was really ours. At a depot in the outskirts of the region, stacks of bamboo lie neatly cut and sorted into various sizes. Across Asia, bamboo is used for construction, scaffolding, and aiding the correct setting of concrete. Because of this, hundreds of thousands of long sections are needed every day and can generate a landowner millions of rupees. The village bamboo business made a profit of 34 million rupees in the last 10 years, or $400,000, according to a special feature in the local reporting. It's simple, said the village elder, a worker man. If we don't create jobs, people will migrate. More people in the village means better work and better execution of the work. Good news all around planet Earth. And folks in India, sustainability. Let's get everybody living together. All right. Hey, I got to take a quick break, folks. Let some of our sponsors let you know about what we're doing here in the network and a little bit more about what we're doing in the world. And I'll be right back with more good news stories, including today's hero of the week. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's, and we've got a good one, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents the 2025 season for Nonviolence Meditation Series, January 31st through April 4th. Embrace nonviolence every day with our 64 unique video meditations. Join us at 6 a.m. Mountain Time or watch anytime on our YouTube channel. Featuring a collection of New Thought voices, the 2025 season for Nonviolence Meditation Series. Only on New Thought Media Network, January 31st through April 4th.
Join our celebration of Black History Month. Only on New Thought Media Network. New videos every day at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, or watch anytime on our YouTube channel. 28 unique Black History moments. Every day in February. Come join us as we celebrate Black History Month. Only on New Thought Media Network.
And we're back with more of the good news here on a Friday night. It's after 5 on the Mountain Time Zone. I'm Dr. Robert, and these are the good news stories from around the world. And I tell you, it's the week between Christmas and New Year's, folks. So we got a lot of those good news, human interest type stories today. And the first one comes to us from Baltimore. There's a little pizzeria down on Light Street that was set to close its doors on Christmas. They started sending out their pizzas with a note saying that unless the Little Brick Oven Pizzeria received a serious amount of business or donations, it would be forced to close. And along comes the host of the television program Barstool's Sports, David Port. Enter Barstool Sports' David Portney, one of the famous. And he has, I guess he does a famous one bite pizza review. I've never seen it. So a one bite pizza review. He gave the pizza a solid 7.9 and described it as a kind of a thin New York style. Now the publicity and the review got a whole bunch of people lined up outside to come have pizza. And in speaking with owner Will Fagg, described that this review, Dave becomes a guardian angel that he's always been a big fan and a follower of Portnoy, and didn't expect that the man would come in and review his pizza. So his cry for help led to all this, and well, it worked. Plus, once the owner was asked how much he would need to keep the place going, he said about $60,000 for costs and to pick up a liquor license, and he needed to stay competitive. Portnoy said, "I got it," and gave him the $60,000 to keep the business going. All in all, the review has racked up over 14 million views on X, and I imagine it's on TikTok as well. And the phone has not stopped ringing. We've never had a line like this, said the owner. We've never had this many people waiting at one time. Good news, folks. All it takes is a little something, and we can all contribute. If you know of a small independent business out there, buy a pizza this week. Give them a little bit of your love as well. Good news, good news. Hey, here's another good news story that's coming to us from the Roaring River of North Carolina. Tabitha Jones had her car stolen last week, and you know how this story goes. It was filled with Christmas presents for her children. The devastating news reached a local TV community broadcast, and that broadcast caught the attention of Charles Mitchell, a man she had never met. Now, Mitchell had just undergone dialysis the day before and was struck by the injustice of the situation. He told local news authorities, "I was sitting there thinking how good things are for me, and I saw the story and it broke my heart that someone would steal, especially this time of the year. And it flashed in my head, what can we do to help?" So, refusing to stand by and simply lament the situation, Mitchell decided to take action. He contacted Tabitha to learn more about the stolen gifts and enlisted the help of his friends. Together, they set out to replace everything that had been taken. And Mitchell said, instead of sitting there saying how terrible it is, let's do something. He emphasized the power of turning compassion into action. Their effort didn't just restore Tabitha's stolen Christmas, they restored her hope as well. Mitchell said he hopes people see the story and then it inspires them to go do something good for others. Sir, I do believe that will be happening all across the nation this week as more people do more good for others. Thank you, Charles Mitchell, for being part of the solution and part of the example, not just lamenting and crying about it all. Hey, we're going to travel just a little north of the border on this one. This comes to us from Nova Scotia, Canada. The Morrison family from Cape Breton Island, Canada, experienced their very own version of finding Nemo this holiday season. Turns out that 4 weeks ago, their dog Nemo disappeared without a trace, leaving the family clinging to hope that he might be found. Well, just in time for Christmas, their story took a miraculous turn. 1 month to the day after he disappeared, the family got a phone call that said Nemo was running around the ferry in Englishtown. The kind-hearted strangers that saw Nemo were determined to help and cleverly lured the dog into their car using a McDonald's McChicken sandwich. Not sure if it would be that good for the dog, but I guess it worked. They kept him safe, contacted the Morrisons. They rushed to Englishtown to bring their furry family member back home just in time for a holiday Christmas season. It's these stories that warm the heart, folks. It's these stories that remind us we really are creating a world that works better for everyone, just by everyone being a part of the solution. Hey, we're going to take another quick break and say thank you to our sponsors and organizational donors. However, we do have more good news stories coming up, including this week's Hero of the Week, and you don't want to miss this one. Stay with us, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia,
Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. Yes. Thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. If you'd like to become a part of the New Thought Media Network family and add your financial support to our efforts, please head on over to the website, ntmedia.org/donate, or click on the donate button. Make it a monthly donation, and we'll make sure to include you and your name in our next thank you video, which is due out real soon now because we're at the end of the year, folks. This is our last broadcast for the good news for 2024. Of course, we'll be here next Friday night with the first broadcast of 2025 on the good news. Tonight, we're wrapping it up for 2024. Here's a great story coming out, and wow, what a lucky story, coming out of South Africa. A cod fisherman saved a woman's life by hooking her jeans with his fishing pole, only with a fishing rod and a skill imparted from untold casts. This all went down at Diaz Beach in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a notoriously rough current. Swimmers are warned not to go out to sea here. It is also known as a great surfing spot. No word on how exactly the woman ended up in the water. However, what we do know is that she was brought to shore by a fisherman who used his large codfish hook and was able to catch her jeans. Now, it's a miracle that he didn't catch her in the arm or the leg or somewhere else. It's a big size. Codfish hooks are not small. Fishermen angling from the shoreline witnessed the lady in the water, and a local fisherman cast his rod in her direction with the fishing line attached to a Kabajulu fish hook, said National Sea Rescue Institute spokesman Craig Lambinen. The fisherman was able to reel her towards the beach, where once she reached waist-deep water, a second fisherman waded into the water and helped her out onto the beach. The local fisherman is commended for his efforts that contributed to saving the lady's life. Yes, no names involved, however. It's one of our heroes of the week, and we've got a bunch of them today, folks. I mean, it just feels like I found all the stories about people doing good, and I trust that that's inspiring every one of us to do more good this weekend. This next one's all about an 8-year-old skateboarder, Zayn Berry, was on his way home from school and noticed some bigger boys picking on a stray cat, on a feral kitten that was in the area. Now, Zayn, knowing that this wasn't a fight he was ready to take on, he used some diplomacy and traded his skateboard for the kitten. While the kitten fell in love, Mom is convinced that the kitten knew what was happening. They did have to take the cat for some medical issues and attention, and one was an eye infection that did lead to surgery and removing the cat's eye. However, the cat is alive and doing well, and everybody is super happy, especially Zayn, who brought home the kitten. I got a feeling somebody probably picked him up a skateboard too, and Mom probably got him a skateboard to go with it. So, good news. happening all over the world. And this next one, heart-touching story out of Bountiful, Utah. For the past decade, Valerie Hooper has quietly carried out a Christmas tradition that's brought light and love to families experiencing their deepest loss. For each of these holiday seasons, Hooper and her family decorate a section of the Bountiful City Cemetery that's known as Babyland. This is a specific section where infants and young children are laid to rest. For many families like Brandon and Jesse Menlove, who lost their son Easton 8 years ago, this act of kindness has become a beacon of hope during a season often marked by sorrow. Jesse told a local news outlet, "The first time we saw the section lit up for the holidays, it brought so much joy to me in such a terribly sad time. I wanted to know who did it, but I didn't know how to find out." For her credit, Hooper said, "I never told anybody what I was doing. The tradition had been kept a secret." Well, eventually, Jesse discovered through a friend that Hooper was the person behind the moving display. The Menloves were touched by the gesture that they began helping Hooper with the decorations and turned a private act of love into a shared tradition. Hooper's sister, Teresa Hill, recalled a moment when decorating when another grieving mother stopped her car and expressed her attitude, where she said, "So my baby is over there, and I just want to tell you how much comfort it gives me that you can care enough to come out and give love and light to my child." Hooper ensures the lights stay glowing throughout the season, driving by daily to check on the decorations and repairs at any time that might be out of place. Her dedication is unwavering. Thank you, Ms. Hooper. You are by far one of the greats doing the good work in the world. All right, folks, it's that time. We've got one more. It's our time for the Hero of the Week, also recognized by CNN. A former addict who started a nonprofit for foster pets was named, when their owners are seeking substance abuse treatment, was named the 2024 CNN Hero of the Year. Stephen Knight will receive over $100,000 to continue his life-changing work. His Texas organization, Dog Matters, covers pet care expenses for the foster family and provides post-release services to help human participants succeed with their sobriety. Knight said, "This means everything. I represent so much here. I represent the recovery community, the dog rescue community, and this is going to take us to a new level." Back in 2011, at the age of 51, Stephen had lost everything to meth addiction: his family, his job, his home, and nearly his life. He was HIV positive and living out of his car. Knight entered rehab at the behest of his mother, but it was a face-to-face meeting with a little dog that changed his life. After months of treatment, he was at a delicate time in his recovery, and a friend showed up at his door in tears. She had relapsed, and in her arms was her beloved dog, JD. Now, Knight's friend could no longer said no one would take JD, and she asked Knight for a ride to the shelter so she could surrender the dog. Well, Knight told CNN, "I looked at JD and we looked at each other. It was one of the most spiritual moments. We knew, I think we might need each other here." Knight realized that some addicts were delayed or foregoing treatment because they could not find suitable housing for their pets. In 2015, Dogs Matter became a registered nonprofit. As Knight approaches 14 years sober, his organization has helped more than 1,200 dogs and their owners, fostering pets as people enter into their recovery treatment. This means everything. I represent so much here. I represent the communities. And again, he said this will be able to take him and his community to the next level. Thank you, Stephen. Congratulations. You, sir, not only CNN's Hero of the Year, you're our Hero of the Week. We appreciate you being a part of the New Thought, letting us share your story here on New Thought Media Network. All right, folks, that's it. That's the good news for tonight. Thanks for being with us. Please stay tuned in just a half an hour. Reverend Michael Mangus will be here with the Fireside Chat. Happens every Friday evening. Our final And our wrap up this evening later at 8:15 is our prayer time at 8:15 later tonight. Be back with us again tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. for our Science of Mind and Spirit Conversation series. That starts tomorrow. Reverend Barbara Jean will be with us for that. All right, that's all we got time for. Thanks again for being with us. Until next time, I want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.